The next call is a split call. David, chair of 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. First of all, to say that the Labor Party wants this to be a personal vote, a conscience vote. Alcohol issues have always been a conscience vote, and we don't see the reason for making this any different. Sir, we've got to be, I think we've got to get real about this. There's a lot of talk about alcohol and the problems of alcohol, and yes, there are some problems with alcohol, but look, mixing it together with our national game and saying just because they go together it's a problem is actually pretty disrespectful of a lot of rugby fans out there who like to have a beer in front of their TV or with some mates. In my electorate, which includes Eden Park in my electorate, we've had some real issues about people, 50,000 people going along to the ground and coming out again. I have to say, over the past year or two, the behaviour on the whole has been good, it's been respectful, and we haven't had all of the issues that seem to be forecast by people in this House around problems between rugby and alcohol. Sir, this is our national game. Our team won the Rugby World Cup in 2011. We want to see them do well in the World Cup that's coming up, and we want to be able to see them do well. And there are a lot of people, as Dr. Smith said, and I agree with him, they aren't able to either afford Sky or they don't have Sky, and they want to be able to go somewhere to be able to watch their game. And I could add to what Dr. Smith said. I mean, they want to get out of their cold, dark, damp houses and go to somewhere warm and dry, like a rugby club, to be able to watch the game with other people. Sir, this is our national game. We want to be able to celebrate, watch our All Blacks play. It only happens once every 4 years. It's not like it's happening every single day. And I would have thought that, given the importance of the game, we should be able to see it on this occasion. It's happening on the other side of the world. It's not happening in the middle of the afternoon, which might have created less problems, of course. It's likely to happen at 4 in the morning. And for many people, and I remember myself as a young kid getting up in the middle of the night to watch a rugby test with my dad because it was free view on our television. That's not possible anymore. And I think there's a discussion to be had about why it isn't free to view for these very important games. It certainly is in Australia, it is in the UK, it's in a number of other places where nationally important games are able to be watched free on our national TV, but it's not in this case. It's not, and so I agree with what David Seymour has done in bringing this bill forward. I think it's been, and I commend the committee that's been looking at it. I think they've been able to modify it to take off some of the possible problems around noise, etc. But sir, at the end of the day, at 4 o'clock in the morning, people are going to wander down to their local sports club. They're going to be with a bunch of mates. They're going to be with their friends. Are they going to be getting on the booze big time? I don't think so. Most people who sit there are watching the game intently. They're probably going to have a cup of coffee. They possibly will have breakfast as well. They may take their kids. I certainly will if I'm going down there. And they'll be watching the game and then they'll wander off home. I really think we're getting well beyond what rugby fans do today when we start talking about the excesses of alcohol and the doom and the gloom that's coming down the track, sir, as a result of this piece of legislation. As for the number of matches, there was obviously at the beginning, there was a proposal to constrict the number of games to 12 or 16. At the end of the day, I think what's going to happen is that bars are going to make their own decision about whether there is actually a market for people who are going to be watching Georgia play Canada at the game, and if there's not going to be a fan base for that, they're not going to open. And it seems to me, sir, that what we have in front of us is a sensible piece of legislation. It's only for a fixed period of time. It is to watch our national game and to link the woes of alcohol too closely to rugby is a bit of an insult, sir, to a lot of rugby fans out there, the great majority of whom are sensible, responsible people who just want to watch their national game. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Cool. Meka Whaitiri, 5 minutes.